Welcome to the Karibuni Center. My name is Paul Steinke and I'm a licensed professional counselor. One of the questions I'm frequently asked is what to expect from counseling, and especially the first session together. Even people who have previous counseling experience want to know what they can anticipate the process of counseling looking like with me, as every counselor is really different. Regardless if you have been to therapy before or this is your first time, beginning the process with a new counselor is usually anxiety-producing to some degree. Especially if you are new to counseling, it is really unsettling to think about meeting with an absolute stranger and sharing personal details about your life with that person. I really respect how hard it can be to begin the process, and I really admire anyone who chooses to reach out. It takes a lot of courage and bravery to seek someone out for help with your life. We tend to admire courage and bravery when displayed by others, but ignore or don't realize our own capacity to act courageously in the face of challenges. We are all conditioned to experience fear and anxiety when we are faced with being vulnerable, and even more so if we experienced hurt or rejection in the past when we tried to open up to someone. That's why a critical part of the counseling process is confidentiality. Confidentiality is your legal right to privacy. That means, other than the few mandated exceptions, what is discussed in your counseling sessions is kept between you and your counselor. This is to build and encourage a sense of trust and safety, with a focus on protecting your privacy. When it comes to beginning the counseling process, some people describe feelings of weakness or failure, or sometimes even shame. They never expected to find themselves meeting with a counselor, sitting on this couch, and because there are still stigmas around therapy, they feel like they have failed in their lives or in their marriages because they can't figure out their current crisis or how to get unstuck on their own. It also doesn't help that a lot of people feel societal and cultural pressure to have it all together. I also hear how people feel like they're the only ones who struggle in their lives. There is good news with all those feelings. You aren't the only one, and it actually takes an incredible amount of strength and courage to reach out and ask for help. Everyone at some point hits a wall in their life or gets stuck in some way. We all struggle to see the forest through the trees, and that's why an outside perspective can be so valuable. Someone who isn't so close to your situation can help you see things you've missed and show you a path forward that you haven't been able to find on your own. In addition to the emotional part of the process, in our first session together, I'm going to ask you some form of the following question. What brought you in to see me? Usually people have a long story or a short story as to why they sought me out. Oftentimes there's a precipitating event, or there's been an ongoing cycle that a couple finally got tired of dealing with. The first meeting tends to be a lot of answering questions and sharing information. You see, you are an expert on your own life, and I'm just meeting you for the first time. So in order to work together and help you move forward, I need to get a picture of who you are and what's going on with you. Now, we all know that 50 minutes isn't nearly enough time to really get to know someone and cover every aspect of their life story, but that's not the goal. The goal is to paint a picture of what you are struggling with, where you feel stuck, and what you want to see happen. This picture tends to develop over the course of a few meetings as we continue to talk together and put words to what is going on with you. This brings up another expectation people tend to have. How long will this take, and how often will we meet? The short answer is it depends. Everyone's story and situation is so different, and there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to therapy. Different issues require different solutions and processes and take different amounts of time at different speeds. However, I usually recommend meeting weekly at the beginning for a while so that we can build some momentum and develop a foundation to work from. It's really hard to make progress when things start off infrequently. I liken it to working out. The first time setting foot in a gym is anxiety-producing, and there is a lot of pressure and expectation, and there's definitely a goal in mind. However, without consistent workouts, things just won't change. Therapy is very similar to this. It requires a level of commitment and consistency. I've heard stories and complaints about someone's counseling experience that it wasn't helpful or successful. Oftentimes I find out that the individual only went once or twice, or just once a month for a few times. I wish there was a magic wand that could create instantaneous change for you, but I haven't found one yet. Now, since everyone is dealing with something different, there are times that a few sessions can bring about major progress and change. Sometimes people just need a different perspective to get moving and can start doing a lot of work on their own. However, it tends to be that the longer the issue has persisted and the deeper the problem, the more time it takes. I heard a great quote recently, and it reads, "Don't walk 10 miles into a forest and expect to get out in 5 minutes. I feel like this sums up the process really well. Some relationship issues are the equivalent of 10 miles in. Some are only a mile, some are much longer than both. The good news is that just because you are 10 miles in doesn't mean it takes 10 miles to get out. For most people, the issues and struggles they face today developed over a long period of time, usually years. However, the process of healing and change is exponentially faster. Again, think about working out. Those first few weeks at the gym really don't feel good, and progress feels slow or non-existent. But ask anyone who has stuck with it. Weeks down the road, they start to feel different. And they don't just feel progress, but they can actually see it too. This is the reality of redemptive time. It works in an exponential way. Movement begets movement, and progress leads to more progress. Growth is cumulative. Once you start and maintain a process, things tend to keep going. So where a marriage took a decade to get to a place where both feel lonely and disconnected, it can only take a matter of months for that to change. This is why it is so hard to predict how long the process can take. But I can say that those who make the commitment and start it and stick with it end up healing and getting unstuck. I hope that's a helpful start to understanding more about the process and what to expect from counseling. Of course, if you have other questions or concerns, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer and address those for you. Again, if you're considering reaching out and starting the process, I want to reiterate how strong and courageous you are for taking that first step to get unstuck and grow, and for investing in your life and your relationships.